So here's a common issue with buying a turnkey property, rental property. So by turnkey, often we use turnkey meaning like a turnkey company, and they have horrific, horrible reputations. I'm not necessarily referring to that here, but I guess it is somewhat similar. So it's not uncommon for us to have investors, folks with disposable income, who purchase a property that was a shell that a contractor flipped and sold with the intention of selling it. So often the investors are buying this as a new condition property. And often these investors, rightly so, are assuming that this property actually will have deferred maintenance. That since everything is new, it's really not going to have any expenses. That's not the case. And we run into this. This is extremely common, and actually, it's horrible. I'm laughing because it's just so horrible. But it's very common to actually have the contractor who flipped it, who would put dummy fake outlets and dummy fake registers for the HVAC system that just don't work, that they're not attached to anything. And the problem you have as a landlord is anything that is there, anything a reasonable person should have assumed would work, has to work. So if a prospective tenant walks through your unit, sees an outlet, the assumption a reasonable person would have is that that outlet works. So once that tenant signs a lease and they move into the unit and they find the outlet doesn't work, you as a landlord are under obligation to give them that outlet in working order. The problem you have is that outlet is merely a dummy in a wall and no wires have been run to it, so now you have to potentially rip open walls to get a wire to it. There's more reasonable solutions than that. But so just got what is very common is tenants moved in not long ago. They're having constant problems with this beautiful looking, horribly done property where everything's just behind the walls is garbage. Plumbing's leaking, you name it, and the tenants are just getting exasperated with us. Why did you rent us this place? We were the property management company that came in right when the purchase went through. So we got the keys at the same time the tenants did. Tenants are testing out all these systems that are just chronically failing. So now the weather's turned, and it's 82 degrees yesterday. The poor tenants turned on their HVAC system only to find out that the second, and I can't stop laughing because it's just so ridiculous. But it's common. This is extremely common. Turned on the second and third floor registers for the HVAC system were never connected, so they're just dummy fake registers. And there's really no recourse for the owner. I'm sorry. They can't really go back. They can go back, technically speaking, and sue the contractor. I just don't know if it's really a viable thing. We have no choice but now to run ductwork, which is going to be ridiculously expensive to get these vents to work. And I guess my recommendation is you really have to be careful. I did actually force these owners. I didn't force them, but I really leaned on them to get the property inspected, to get a home inspector in there. The problem with home inspectors is they will often, it's real estate agents can be great, but they have an invested interest in you buying that property. They don't want that property to fail a home inspection report so that they have to go back and show you, 12 more properties. They want that deal to go through. Otherwise, it means more work for them, a lot more work for them. So they tend to only refer a home inspector who's not going to fail the home. Now, not all realtors do this. A lot of good home inspectors are out there, and a lot of good realtors are out there, and a lot of these good realtors will connect you to a good home inspector. But do your research. So get the referral from your real estate agent, but then do your due diligence and Google that person, look at their reviews, the same way as selecting a property management company. Check online reviews, same way with checking for contractors, check online reviews. Do that for a home inspector, because this home inspector should have tested the entire HVAC system. So it's understandable if it's wintertime and he can't check that it's cooling, he can certainly check that there's heat coming out where the fan's working. And he obviously did not do this, or he did it and he just decided not to mention it to anyone. Same thing, every outlet, home inspector should be testing every single outlet in that property. Every single outlet, and they typically will either not check every outlet in that property. It's very easy to have a tester, just it works, it doesn't work. They either didn't bother checking, or checked and just decided, you know, they want to keep the referrals coming from the real estate agent, so they're not going to sell the property. So definitely, if you're buying a turnkey property, make sure that you are really doing your due diligence. Go into the property yourself, do some testing of it, get a home inspector in there that is well respected and one that you can trust, and attend a home inspection if possible to make sure you're actually there and seeing things are being done. And you know, don't be afraid to say, well, what about that outlet over there? What about that outlet? Are you sure that toilet's flushing? You know, are you sure, you know, all these things are operating? All right, as usual, happy rental investing.